AstroEnergy Astrology Show on Blog Talk Radio with me, Astrologer Shelley Overton. Each week we go over the planetary positions, discuss astrology, and take callers' questions. If you would like to call in and get a reading, you can call 347-994-3365. Call in early as the lines fill up. Welcome to the December 31st, 2018 edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show with me, Astrologer Shelley Overton. It's great to have you here and share this with me. This is the second half of our astrological review of year 2019 for Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. We are going over the second half of the zodiac today, and we'll give you a little rundown of what's going on in the sky before I start and chit-chat a little bit and get going on it. But it's a kind of overcast day here in Orlando. I'm looking out my right window and I see some clouds, and on the left I see some overcast and some clouds, but hopefully it'll burst forth brightly with some beautiful blue sky, because I could really use some. I love blue sky days, and I'm telling you, you think Florida is the land of sunshine, but it's really the land of overcast. I feel I live in Seattle most of the time. Anyway, well, at least in Orlando. So we've got a lot of planetary shifts going on. Right now we have Jupiter at 11 degrees Sagittarius, Mercury at 23 Sag, and the moon is at 8 degrees. I'm going to double check this. December 31st, yes, 8 degrees Scorpio. That means the moon is coming right up on my natal Scorpio, and Venus is at 23 Scorpio, so she's kind of on her way out of the sign. But of course, moon and Venus will be conjunct here in the next couple days, and that means intensity of emotion, intuition, probably some women being in the news, definitely moon being feminine and Venus being feminine in the feminine sign of Scorpio. It is issues arising from anything legal or governmental that are hidden. So we're probably right on the precipice of some new information coming out, not surprising. Mercury is in Sag and Jupiter is in Sag, which of course loves to tell it like it is. So when the moon gets there in a couple days, you know that we're going to have more stuff coming out. Always, always. And then we have Sun at 9 degrees Capricorn, Saturn at 11. So the Sun is in the next 2 days right where Saturn is. And looking at this, I'm getting some chills here as I'm talking to you. So I'm getting that, and I already kind of knew this, that after the first of the year, we're going to have a lot of stuff rocking and rolling with the government and what's going on with the Mueller investigation, because we are going to be wrapping up a story, but Uranus retrograde in Aries right now is going back towards the old power structure, towards the old way of doing things, paternalism, men in charge, which I have no issue with men. I like men, but that whole dynamic of patriarchy is on its way out, and having Uranus as a significator of some of the issues we've had with that are coming out when Uranus goes direct. It's going to be the final push before it goes into Taurus. So it's really wrapping things up and getting all the ducks in a row to try and understand the essence of power, of male power, of aggression and assertiveness, and really shifting to the new dynamic. So it's really a culmination and a wrapping up of all that. And so as we have that energy shift on January 6th, which is a week away, that's just going to get more and more heightened as we get to January. And of course, once Uranus is direct it's going to be, again, finishing up those stories. And probably there will be, especially with the moon going into Sagittarius, joining up with Jupiter, Jupiter's transformation, there is going to be information coming out probably about foreign affairs or foreign events. And then Venus in the next, I would say about a week, she'll be going into Sagittarius as well. Lots of stuff happening with planetary shifts and the new year. And of course, January 1st, I think Mars moves into Aries. So there will be more activity going on with men as Mars. So one's entering, one's exiting. Mars is entering and Uranus is exiting. So the power exits, and then there's more male energy infused and directed activity, which is a male thing, assertiveness. So that's going to happen. And then Neptune is squaring Jupiter, and there will be direct squares throughout the year, but for most of the year, Jupiter will be squaring to Neptune. And so that means subconscious, psychology, subliminal, anything that's going on behind the scenes, coming out. There's a wanting to keep it hidden, which is Neptune, and a wanting to bring it out and show it, which is Jupiter. It's education, it's beauty, it's music, it's spirituality, really kind of key about self and the collective, the individual versus the us, and the codependence versus the autonomy. So we're going to see a lot of dynamics going on playing out this year. And so that being said, I'm going to get into some of what I need to get into today. Okay, and I have to tell you, it is a little bit difficult going a whole show without talking to someone else, because I'm talking to you as if you're there, but I'm not talking to anyone live. So it makes it a little bit awkward for me, but I'm doing pretty well today. I think I'm fairly casual. I'm fairly relaxed. So we're going to just go over a lot of the notes that I've taken here. And the thing with talking to another person is it brings up like a dynamic or a pushback that I can answer questions that I can't answer being here on the podcast by myself. So if there's information that you want to get that you don't see or hear from me, I am doing blogs. I'll probably post a blog on the new year here in the next week. And then also you can get a private reading from me at angeliczodiac.com. I've got a button up there, and you can still get the Learn Astrology ebook. It's always there in the upper right corner of Angelic Zodiac. You can click through to get that. And if you do 20 off TO or 20 OFF, that'll give you 20% off. And I think on my homepage of my Angelic Zodiac, I don't have that information. So it's just the old stuff. I haven't gotten a chance to do that, quite honestly. And this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll get into Libra. I've been doing a lot of work on Uranus in my chart, and Uranus going into Taurus. And last year I got really super busy when Uranus went into Taurus, and it's starting to pick up like that now again. So it's going to be a really, really busy time, and I'm hoping that stays with me, that it's going to be really a great smooth sailing with that coming into the new year. So I'm hoping that's the case with you as well. Anyway, Libra's focus this coming year will be home and partnership, joint finances, and commitment. The transition and transformative part will be family life and feeling drained by responsibilities. And that's because family life is where Capricorn falls for Libra. And of course, that's also been going on. Pluto in Capricorn's been there since 2007. So it has been like a nonstop shift. And I can tell you, wherever Pluto is, that's where major shifts happen. SHIFTS, and it could be the other word as well. But the shift goes from major, like what happens is the phoenix is the symbol of Pluto and Scorpio. And so wherever Pluto goes, it acts as if an energy will completely wipe something out and it'll rise from the ashes. An example of that would be the fires in California, or even the tsunami that just happened. It completely wipes something out, and then you have to rebuild. So when we have this energy in Capricorn, it's about wiping out the physical structure of something. And for Libra, that falls into the home and family. And so everything that you've been experiencing, I mean, you're naturally having Capricorn in the house of home and family, but with the planets transiting there, it triggers it, it builds it in that part of your chart. So what you're experiencing is Libra. Naturally, Libra is somewhat codependent, and Capricorn is the sign where responsibility is taken for others and for the system and for the rules. And so having Libra Sun or Libra Rising squaring to Capricorn in your house of home and family, the lessons are about the fear in the family, the fear of things not going well or the way you had planned them to go. And so you tend to be more controlling in the family life for that sense of security. And so having these planets go through that part of your chart is stressful. And the stress comes out when you try to control things that are uncontrollable. And so the lesson of Capricorn planets transiting now is to let go and to not feel you are responsible for everything and every outcome around you, because there's no way you could be. So this coming year, you have Saturn joining up with Pluto in your house of home and family. So Saturn is father figures and the overriding authority within Capricorn sign. And so it is about what kind of family structure you have and who you're taking responsibility for, what situations you're taking responsibility for, which is not yours to take. And so Saturn wants us all to understand that we have to take care of ourselves first. And wherever you're feeling like, if I don't do this, it's all going to fall apart, that's probably where Capricorn is in your chart. And for Libra, home and family. So the challenges are for Libra to have value of self and value by freeing yourself within a partnership situation, and that's only because Libra rules partnership. So your sun is at odds with what's going on with the family. So you want cooperation, but having cooperation is not going to bring peace of mind in the family life. It's just not. So there are two fronts that you're really kind of having to shore up a strength, so to speak. And for Libra, again, it can be very codependent, and really you can go along with the crowd or go along. It's like Pisces. You go along with what's going on because you have a greater vision of cooperation, of diplomacy, of wanting things to go well, that you're not necessarily having go well right now. And that's difficult. It's not fun. So, you're going through this major time, and all the cardinal signs are Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer are going through this really strong time of feeling the need to control things more so, and it going less well than it used to. And that's because that's the overriding dynamic of this shift as we come into 2024 with Pluto moving into Aquarius and truly the age of Aquarius. So anyway, Libra, your dates are, well, let me double check here. I'm going to go over your challenges and make sure I got all that. Value of self to others, freeing yourself from a partnership situation that isn't in your best interest. Being free to be yourself and still feel loved and committed. And then also entrepreneurial endeavors with a partner are highlighted. So August 11th, Jupiter moves direct, Uranus moves retrograde, and that is a strong energy for you with Uranus retrograde until January 10th of 2010, and that falls in your house of commitment and joint finances. So Uranus, the energy of Uranus, and of course Jupiter falls in your house of communication, and that's where a lot of energy is directed towards freedom, feeling the desire to speak your truth. And it's interesting. I have a Libra friend. I think he has a Libra rising, and then he has Saturn in Scorpio, and he is one of the most outspoken advocates of democratic ideology that I know. And he has, ever since the election and even before, he has posted continuing coverage on Facebook of politics and his opinion. And that's kind of what Jupiter in the third house does. It expands your need, your desire to express yourself as you see the truth. And it is also an energy of growth around freedom and freedom of spirit, and not being told what to do or not being restricted. And so your communications, Libra, are going to be focused on speaking your truth. And, it's not always enjoyed by other people, but that's part of this dynamic for the next year. And it is wanting to move about, to have freedom of movement, because the third house generally is about short distance travel, and it's Gemini energy, so you move about quickly. Your natal or not neighbor, I can't even speak, neighborhood, got it out. And so it's going to want you to get out about and possibly even move the kind of people that you're connecting to, because that third house energy is very social, and Jupiter wants to be on the go and active with people, or at least situations, and keep them coming and keep moving from one to another. So that energy is going to be really strong for you. In conjunct this year for you, between Uranus and the Sagittarius energy, falls between communications and what's going on with joint finances. So look to see if all that truthful is coming out in that area, because of course the eighth house, joint finances, is hidden, and Jupiter wants to bring it out. So Uranus is seeing its power as it goes into that house as being more able to be covert and do things the way they want, while so they want to just be free to be who they are within that dynamic of money, cooperative money, but they don't want to be taken to task for it, or called out, which is what Jupiter's doing. So that's a potential for you this year. If you want to know more, my gosh, it's so hard for me sometimes to move on to different dynamics, but a couple more things for Libra, and then we'll move on. So September 15th, Mercury and Venus go into Libra, which is in your comfort zone with thoughts and a partner and diplomacy, but your sense of self and how things are working for you are cooperative. So it's actually a positive energy for you in September. And October 5th, Mars enters Libra, which of course is going to trigger more activity based on Libra ideals, so cooperation, but it can do it more subtly and aggressively. It's kind of like, okay, I'm going to pull you two together and we're going to have a deal here. You got to listen. This is not going away. So it's kind of an assertive energy around cooperation. And it'll make you a little bit more combative than usual, and you're for a fight with partners and the people you love. Money opportunities arrive with partners. Take action, and making choices can be stressful but fruitful. Jupiter is cooperative with Libra all year. Being in Sagittarius, it's a sextile, and travel educational opportunities arise. Jupiter retrograde period will pull back freedom of thought and speech. So that's the middle of the year, April through August 10th through August 10th. Careful about travel at that time, because Jupiter retrograde is in your house of transportation. Capricorn planets in your home and family sector continue to challenge your sense of responsibility and belief restrictions throughout the next 2 years. Growth of boundaries is the theme. March 20th, there's a super moon, full moon in Libra, and it's a culmination of a story around partnership and relationship, and your needs, your personal self needs are highlighted. So that's your year, Libra. Scorpio, there's a focus on money and family and home life for you. Work is the focus, so transition, transformation, work will be the focus for you, with new focus on partnership, partnering, money through partnership, romance or a romantic partnership, with Uranus moving into your house of marriage and partnership. And that can also bring about a need for freedom within a partnership, or understanding alternative ways of coupling up, because Uranus alternative joined with couples, Taurus, means. And so what is that vision you have for what works for you in marriage and partnership? And it does revolve around freedom of movement. So you're looking for someone who's going to give that to you, but you are interested in meeting someone, and that can come rather quickly because Uranus is nothing if not quick. And so just be careful because what can come in quickly can also leave quickly. But it's a natal transit through that house, so chances that you're going to have multiple opportunities for romance and partnership are coming, and that's true even for me. I have a Scorpio rising, and I have actually 2 different partnership situations on the horizon. One is actually happening, and I will tell you more about that in the near future. And then the other one has to do with some metaphysical / business stuff that I'm doing. I'm very excited about that. So that can happen for you as well because Uranus has been going through your house of work. It's been in Aries. It's been an energy of wanting to have more freedom in the workplace, but also entrepreneurial endeavors. And it could be around sales. And I have to tell you, I love the idea of selling things. And for some reason, I've felt a little restricted doing that. But it has been 8 years in the house of work. It's health. It can be joints, ankles, anything that's Uranian, and Aries, which is head. So if you've had quick movement of the head, you could have had some issues with blood or the head, which is in the last 8 years. Moving into Taurus is going to be more about, like I said, partnering, romance, doing things that are productive in a growing sense. Agriculture could be coming in, something that helps you reach people through growth opportunities, finances. Your challenges are Jupiter retrograde April 10th through August 10th. It will act more like Saturn, and a feeling of financial restriction will happen, and it's transformative because it will reiterate how valuable you are and how valuable the sense of financial freedom is to you. That's what restriction can do. It builds your muscles in that area. Also, your sense of personal value, what you're worth to others, is a life lesson this year. And also, for 7 odd years, till Uranus moves into the next sign, which is Gemini, and that is your house of travel, transportation, and it will affect communication. But for now, Mars is in Scorpio, and Mars in Scorpio will be emotionally challenging. That happens in November and throughout December. And it's going to probably hit everybody because, again, remember, Scorpio was really strong this year around Halloween, which it always is anyway with the sun. But this coming year, 2019, it will be November into December. And so there will be the sun in Scorpio, and then I think there's another planet in Scorpio at that time. But over the fall into winter time frame, that's the time when we get more into our emotions. We get kind of hunkered down and start to really go over old sentiments and old feelings. And that's going to be a stronger time for us this year, this coming year. Let's see. Joined with Jupiter moving into Capricorn, authority figures and making transitions with authority figures is a challenge for this year. Some of the dates to look forward to are a trine of Uranus to Capricorn planets manifesting this year. That's about, again, it's about transformation of the material world for you, and I think that we're all feeling that, but that falls in Scorpio's house of communication and also, like I said, partnerships. So you're getting your voice heard more this year. Jupiter will be going into Capricorn at the end of this year, and so that's really whatever you're building this year. And like, for instance, that rules the 3rd house of communications. I wrote a book last year. Jupiter can expand more opportunities for something like that. And I would say Scorpios and Scorpio rising, writing a book is definitely part of what you should be doing over the next couple of years because there's so much information that comes through, especially having the 3rd house connected to the Gemini energy, and then Capricorn is manifesting it. So it's about speaking your truth, speaking your voice, and your thoughts and all of the ideas that you have. And definitely a Gemini house, lots of ideas, and how to organize people, how to shore things up and make things happen from idea to manifest. Neptune in the fifth house will frustrate at times. Jupiter wants to get going with money and love and travel to another place and manifest those things. Neptune is slowing down the pace. So there's a square, again, this Jupiter squaring Neptune this year. It will slow down how you think of manifestation versus intuition and the structure and getting going with it, making it happen and forcing it to happen versus allowing it to happen with faith and knowing that intuitively things are going to work out, and they will work out in a creative way for Scorpio because Neptune is in the fifth house of creativity. It is about children this year. Interestingly, in my chart, it is about the transformation of my children from an educational setting, from one into another, and from another into regular life. So you could have that in yours as well. The Jupiter energy, again, is educational as well as spiritual and transformative. So there's some type of educational connection here. And you could also make a living through education, having Jupiter in your house money. So look into ways that you can turn what you know and what you are interested in into an actual income through education. Or there are a number of online sites. There's Skillshare and Teachable, and I know there's one more. I just don't remember it at the time. But yeah, it's about education and learning and growth and spirit. And so January 13th, Jupiter-Neptune square. So there's going to be issues about, well, why aren't you taking action? But I'm waiting for the proper time, and I'm intuiting what's going on. And it's part of the story for everyone. But for Scorpio, that falls into the house of money and the house of creativity. So interestingly, I was kind of having my personal conversation with Archangel Michael this morning, and I said, what do I need to do? And the first thing that came to mind was hang in there. And I had images of the cat hanging from the bar, and the old posters of hang in there. And then this morning, this is something that just kind of occurred to me, that there are a lot of cat references. And so you've got the cat hanging from the bar. And then today, Taylor Swift came out with her Reputation tour video on Netflix. And I just found out this week she's going to be in the movie Cats as one of the cats. So I thought that was an interesting connection. And then I have a new cat in the backyard too. So cats, you may have cats. That's something that could come into your world. And again, third house is small animals, and so is Virgo/6th. So as Uranus moves out of the sixth house for Scorpio risings, you could find that there are some animal transformations and transitions coming to you. Definitely for me, I'm getting more animals. They're not going away. They're coming to me. So maybe you have that too. And then March 20th, there is a supermoon, full moon in Libra, and that falls into your 12th house of the subconscious. So it is about partners and letting go of old ideas around partners and emotion and home life. And it affects the subconscious, and it can create some triggers for you. And interestingly, that's also right around the time the sun goes into Aries, the opposite of Libra. And so that will create another dynamic of opposition. And that's, of course, the full moon, supermoon, so that's why the sun's opposite it. But that will trigger your house of work. And so the subconscious and things that you didn't know, and the house of work and sales. So there's some dynamic going on there with work and feeling comfortable in that environment with others, with self and cooperation. So look forward to that. The next sign, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, boy, what a big year you're going to have. You've got Jupiter going through your first house and joining up with your sun. And of course, Jupiter is the great benefic. It is the ruler of the sign of Sagittarius. And so you're definitely in a big year of expansion, of transformation, of spirituality and travel, play, getting out in the outdoors, moving about, maybe selling a house. A lot of energies coming up for you, starting an online course, taking a course, teaching a course. So the focus is self and personal growth and spiritual expansion with Jupiter in your sign this year. Also, Capricorn, money and money systems, career, and money in general are a strong focus for the next few years. And of course, that falls in your house of money and love. And it is about relationships with others, couples, being a couple. Are you in the situation with another person that you should really be in? And focusing on what are you afraid of? What tangible goods that you want to create are you afraid to go and do because you've got some kind of subliminal idea or even conscious idea at this point, because we've been going through so much Capricorn for the last decade. What is your fear? Why are you afraid that you can't make it happen? It can happen for you, going to happen for you. Saturn joining up with Pluto is going to blow out those last fears. So if you address the fears, they won't have to manifest. If you don't address your fears consciously, you're going to have to live through what creates them and what the belief system is manifest. And so the best thing I can tell you is to go subconscious and really find out, trace those threads and see what it is that you're afraid of, because you're going to make it happen. It's going to happen, and it can either go smoothly or go difficult, and the difficult is when you resist. Capricorn is a resistor. It builds through resistance. And so that is on the plate for everybody, but specifically Sagittarius, it falls in your house of money. So right now, Saturn, well, at the beginning of the year, Sun is in Capricorn, Saturn is in Capricorn, and Pluto is in Capricorn. Mercury is on its way. It will be there in about a week. So we're going to have a really strong Capricornian New Year. And the good news is Uranus is going into an Earth sign, which will trine Capricorn. So that means, it means two things actually. It means that we are going to be approaching money and money stuff from an alternative standpoint. And it also means that that alternative standpoint will help shift the energy of speed and things that are set in their ways or dogmatic. It's going to shift it, and it's going to do it in a cooperative way, as opposed to Uranus and Aries, which was definitely cordant and not comfortable for, I would say, everyone, other than those who really like to rock and roll, rock the boat. Mars going into Aries for the next month is probably going to keep some of that frustration alive, but Mars goes into Taurus at the end of January, and then not long after, within a month, Uranus goes into Taurus. And so when Uranus goes into Taurus, it is the Taurus time of year, and you will feel much more at ease. We will have new things coming in. It'll feel like a new vibe. I would definitely say Jupiter in Sagittarius and Uranus in Taurus is going to make us feel a bit more like the early 70s. Those of you who have been alive, that for me was probably my favorite time of my life, because it just felt like everything, all the music was the kind of music I liked. Things went smoothly. Everybody was in that kind of glow of the summer of love, like the afterglow of that. And it just seemed like a really great expansion of the arts, and I think we're going to have that, and the cooperation between Capricorn and Taurus is going to help Sagittarians with money and work. Let me see, where's Taurus in your chart? Play, money, work. Yep, in the house of work. And so you're going to actually be building a lot this year, and that'll go really in a positive way after March as far as the tangible goods go. The difficulty will be the Jupiter. I mean, I think for everyone, it's probably going to be Jupiter square Neptune this year, because what happens is Jupiter squares Neptune 3 times. It hits January 13th, which is the initiating energy. So we will all know what that story is going to be around the 13th of January. It retrogrades, and then they join up again during the retrograde, which is the review time, and that is June 16th. So on June 16th, that's when we're really going to feel it, because not only are Jupiter and Neptune square, but Sun is in Gemini, which will be opposite Jupiter. So it's probably, and I haven't looked at this specifically, but I can tell you it's going to be pretty close to a trine, or not a trine, Jupiter opposite with a square, yeah, a T, a grand cross, not grand cross, a cardinal cross, a T square, there, T square. I swear, every time I try and talk about a Gemini or a Mercury issue, I can't get the word. Anyway, it's going to be a T square, which means two planets are opposite and the third one squares both of them. That's coming June 16th. So it will be kind of a heightened energy for this Jupiter-Neptune square this year. And then on September 21st, they meet for the last time in a square, and that's when we really understand the nature of what it meant for us, and we are able to resolve it, work with the energy, and we may not like it, but we'll know how to handle it, and then we'll move forward with it. So I'm looking to see major religious systems taking a hit this year, and also spiritual transformation. People traveling to a new place because it just doesn't feel good where they're at. And that can also mean me. I'm looking to move somewhere. So it's kind of frustrating already because I know I want to move in the middle of the summer, and that's probably not the time to move, and I won't be able to do it till September. So we'll see how it goes, but that's also part of the challenge of this year, is trying to figure out where you're going to be and spiritually how you're going to handle things. So let me see what else we have for Sagittarius here before I move on. Let's see. So the total solar eclipse happens, and I'm going to go back up. There is a total solar eclipse in Cancer. I'm going to get to that in a second, but I'm going to go back to the challenges. The work challenges come I'm just going to read this. The work environment is a challenge this year. You are normally not someone who enjoys a great deal of change in the work environment once you have your systems down. Uranus moves into Taurus in your work house, and it will set off power struggles. These revolve around things that happen quickly and even technology involved, and you are not quite ready to get on board with that. Uranus moves quickly, and Taurus needs to take its time to understand and integrate. And so moving forward, you will feel a stronger drive for freedom and its autonomy. With Uranus retrograde, you'll feel it from August 10th to January 10th of this year, and that's where you'll feel more restriction in the work environment, in the workplace. I know somebody who probably is going to feel that and there will be a strong sense that I need to get out of this place. And okay, so getting to the total solar eclipse in Cancer. Cancer is an inconjunct to Sagittarius. It falls in the house of commitment for you, Sagittarius. So with the Capricorn energy in your house of being a couple, and Uranus, not Uranus, the moon total solar eclipse in Cancer, in conjunct to your sun, commitments, financial fallout, joint finances, hidden secrets, and information will be exposed. I kind of touched on that earlier, but look for that coming July 2nd. The Cancer energy for you will be significant around relationships and how money is handled within those, and even to the point of whether or not you choose to stay in that. Okay, let's go to Capricorn. Capricorn, you've been getting a lot of attention in this show today because, what can I say? Everything's going into Capricorn right now. So your focus this year is the self and subconscious responses, your psyche, belief systems, creativity, children, and play. You have some strong energy transforming you in the house of children and romance and play. It's the Leo house. So it's about being a leader and getting attention and being more in your own energy and not so much in other people's. And again, that's the same story I've kind of been telling you about all along with what we have with Capricorn and the dynamic of Pluto going through your sun sign. So we're having a lot of stress around changing and transforming and facing those fears. And the best way through it is to find something that you can control, and that's always just your own responses to things. So if you look at what triggers you and what makes you feel uncomfortable, you can either choose to not feel uncomfortable, or you can choose to go somewhere else and know that that's not something that you can be around anymore. And, you know, Capricorn, that's what you sometimes have to do. It's difficult for Capricorn energy to let go of things. It's kind of almost like Pluto. When you have Pluto in Capricorn, it's doubly difficult, but it's necessary. The dogma, the belief systems are really, really challenged. So if you need to go get therapy, that can really help you focus what it is you're feeling. And having somebody else outside you can kind of give those problems to can really make a difference. And that way you don't have to feel like you're the only one who's doing it. I know Capricorn's probably one of those signs that wants to solve it all themselves. And you can't necessarily do that all the time. It's going to drive you crazy. You have to find help somewhere. Sometimes it just helps to talk to someone. And I'm telling you, that's probably a message from Spirit, because it's what is just coming through for me as I'm talking about your sign. So don't feel like you're less than or in the one down position or out of control or, any way, shape, or form lesser because you seek someone else's information and input. I can tell you personally, I've tried to be the singular guidance of my life, and in trying to be the only person handling everything, it doesn't work. We live in a world of billions of people, and we're here for a reason together. Please let other people help you. And that being said, that's part of your lesson, is to let go of being the only one who can do everything right. Does that resonate to you? Then you need to make that transformation. First off, you probably need to get right with the idea of perfectionism being an illness. And I can tell you, as a recovering perfectionist, it is. Nothing is perfect. You cannot control everything, and you do need to let other people help you. When you're always the person telling everybody how it needs to be, you're not the one who is able to work through things for yourself. You have to let things go to other people and delegate. So that's my word for you now, is delegate. So around the 4th of July, you're definitely going to have more stress with this supermoon in Cancer. It's the home and family, but it's also the sign that needs to feel security. And Capricorn is the sign Cancer looks to for security. So having this energy of Sun in Cancer and Moon in Libra, and let me see, did I say supermoon? I got to look at my dates real quick here. March 20th is a supermoon in Libra. That's a square. I'm looking for the one in Cancer. Hang on. I'm trying to find that date, and I don't see it just yet. Oh, July. I think it's July 2nd. That's what I was looking for the event. Yeah, total. There it is. It's the one above in the Sagittarius section. Total solar eclipse in Cancer with an inconjunct to the Jupiter energy for you. So that's subconscious. Subconsciously, Jupiter in your 12th house this year, Capricorn, you want to move on. You want to get things going and feel more freedom in your sense of self. And you can do that. It's actually going to manifest when Jupiter gets into your first house in December. So Jupiter will open you up to feel more like things are going to be optimistic and positive. And that's a good thing for you. Again, also Uranus in Taurus is going to be really more comfortable for you this year. And as far as major planets having a dynamic that works and is cooperative, and you feel better about it. So some dates for you are January 1st through February 13th, which is when Mars is in Aries. That's going to be, again, that square energy coming in for you. So look to February 13th being significant, because that's also an ending of that Aries energy. Mars will be joined with Uranus. So it is kind of a final push of having a say around the home and family life. I actually have a friend who's a Capricorn. Her birthday was yesterday, and I know for a fact her Taurus daughter is wanting more freedom, and I'm guessing that that energy is probably going to culminate in February, where it's kind of that energy where you're being birthed and no one can tell you you can't do it, and that's what's going to happen. Mars, Uranus is going to be unexpected. It's going to be, I would say, globally, a strong time for a potential war or a conflict coming in right before we shift and change. And then in March, there will be, and this goes for you, Capricorn, in that there's like this war building, and it will culminate in February. And in March, things will settle down more when that person moves on to the next dynamic. And globally, I'm guessing it's probably going to be Kim Jong-un and Trump, or something along those lines around Uranus, which is the unexpected, but it's also chemistry and chemical weapons, and it's warfare around chemistry. And so it wouldn't surprise me if we start to know more, especially with Jupiter and Sagittarius. We're going to have more information coming out about what kind of chemical warfare can happen. So sorry I digressed, but as it comes in here, I just want to express it. So anyway, in April through August, Jupiter retrogrades in your 12th house, and that means there can be a transition of someone or an idea out of your life, and it's the ending of a psychological or emotional dependence story for you. And then again, the Jupiter square to Neptune is also about some type of dependency that you're having with others, emotional dependency and sentimental dependency. So pay attention to that January 13th, June 16th, September 21st dynamic with the square. March 7th, Uranus enters Taurus, and again, someone could be moving away from the home energy, and it also makes you desire more creative energy and autonomy for yourself. And it is still focused on children, so there is a dynamic with that. And I know this same Capricorn friend has another child who is in a very creative kind of beginning of her career, and so she's kind of connected to that, and that can also help transform after Uranus enters Taurus. And now March 20th, the full moon, supermoon in Libra. Career concerns take a central focus, and it's related to partnership and home. Again, it's like that T-square energy. You've got supermoon squaring Capricorn, and so you're going to feel the same dynamic we felt for the last couple of years. Remember when Uranus was squaring in Aries to Capricorn Pluto? We had transits of other faster moving planets. I believe it was 2016. We were going through a lot with partnership, career, home, family, that kind of thing. Is going to really end that old story. The supermoon, a full moon, it's an end of that story associated with career and the dynamic around a career and a partner. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to Aquarius. I'm sorry if I'm blunt. I'm just trying to get everything out and then get everybody in, get the information out, and all the different signs, get them in. So Aquarius, we have a focus in the Capricorn is in the 12th house for Aquarius. So again, subliminal, subconscious issues coming up, a deep psychological shaking up of your systems, how you see the world, faith in yourself, and things that you didn't know will come about and will come out. Psychology, you resonate to, and also the father energy and literal life, in other words, living by rules and systems. They're going to be triggered. Your ego resonates to freedom of thought and a lack of rules. And so this is interesting because Capricorn in the 12th is about spirituality and faith. And Capricorn has faith when it sees tangible action and activity. Aquarius is about the ego, and the energy of Aquarius is where Saturn is moving in the next couple of years, and that's where we're heading. And so for Aquarius, your ego, which rules the first house, is more about freedom of thought, freedom of invention, and being eccentric and being quirky, because everything comes from different sources, and there's no one source and there's no one direction. It's quantum, where Capricorn, your 12th house, your psyche, is about the rules, the structure, the linearity of things. So it's kind of a difficult decade probably for Aquarius and Capricorn too, because they're really, the dichotomy of the two signs is pronounced. And so having Capricorn in your 12th house, Aquarius, you're seeing a slow burn of information coming in that shakes up what you used to think a given and a solid, never changing idea. But that isn't the way it is. And so this year, you're continuing to be challenged there, but moving slowly, well, except for February, when you actually have your sun sign. Sun is in Aquarius, and also probably whenever the moon goes in Aquarius or other planets move into Aquarius this year, you're going to definitely feel more of that need for freedom. And I can tell you, Mercury is in Aquarius for the starting the 25th of January through the 10th of February. So that'll be a stronger time of personal freedom and identity, and those ideas will come fast and furious for you. And then Venus goes into Aquarius for almost the whole month of March. And the reason March is probably more significant for you is because your ruling sign goes into Taurus, and that will be positive for your sense of, spiritual connection. But it's going to be at an inconjunct energy to your sun sign. And so it's not a comfortable placement for you. And that means that you're going to have more money issues and couple issues. So romance for you is probably going to be more about shifts and change. And it is Uranus and Taurus is home and family. So there will be a shift of the home life, and you can also be more eccentric around the family life. And depending on your planets are now, my sun has an Aquarius rising and 3 planets right on Aquarius, including a full moon in Aquarius. And he's definitely been more detached from me as he's been in college. But I do kind of see people with Aquarius moon getting more connected to mom as energy shifts closer into that Aquarius vibration. So Uranus and Taurus is going to be more about the romance side of things and the money side of things. And then say Pluto and Saturn going into Aquarius, triggering the moons for you, you'll definitely have more connection to mom. But as a rule, Aquarius moon is more detached from mother figures. Okay, I'm sorry, my voice is getting a little shredded here with an hour of conversation. So we're going to try and get through this without further ado. So having the Capricorn in your 12th house, Aquarius, the psychology is around father and father energy. And then, of course, your ruling planet going through Aries and wrapping up Aries is wrapping up the story around dad, around male energy and brothers and anything that comes out in your life that is associated with more of aggressive energy. It is your house of communication. So you felt probably, and I know this too, also with my son, the energy of communication is always like a fight. It's like always the counter argument, which is what Aquarius likes to do. They like to give a counter argument to things as a way of kind of flexing their intellectual muscle. And so that has been seen as an aggressive, like verbally aggressive in the last 7 or 8 years with Uranus and Aries in your house of communication. But Uranus moving into Taurus for you is going to settle that down a bit more, with the exception of the next month and a half, because Mars will be in Aries. So with the exception of the first month of this year, where it's going to heighten that energy and probably create arguments at the end of the month of January and into February, mid-February, around Valentine's Day. I'm sorry to say, Aquarius, you're probably going to have fights with your significant other or even potentially break up right around Valentine's Day. But you'll also have a new partner potential coming in with Uranus going into Taurus in March. So it's like a transition phase from February through mid-March. So look for that coming in for you. That's one of your challenges. And then let's see, your challenges also revolve around the home and a difficult aspect to Jupiter, which is moving far away for your job to earn income. That and the Neptune energy being significant. Let me just look here on my chart. So money is coming from Piscean endeavors for Aquarius, while peer groups are Jupiter in Sagittarius. So for you, this square energy is coming between what kind of people do you want to be around, what connection do you have in your soul group, and again, it's around education and higher understanding for Jupiter, squaring being connected on a soul level with faith. Again, it's religion. So the soul group, it's about a spiritual connection to your soul group, and are you able to take the kind of action you want versus hunkering down with your sentiment and your emotions and your intuition and following spirit. So it's really religion and structure in a way versus spirit. So your soul group is more about the actual people and the friendships that you make and how you express yourself with that networking energy versus if you're and the reason this is kind of difficult to express is there's a action-based energy with Jupiter and very much happy-go-lucky, it'll just come as it needs to, which is also Piscean energy, but Pisces is emotion, it's sentiment, and it's wanting to connect on a deeper sentimental level, and it is about growth spiritually. So you're having money also, and I'm kind of rambling with this, but I'm trying to intuit what's going on here. So your house of soul groups and your friendship are going to be at odds with maybe a partner because also Neptune is in your house of bulls. So you're shifting and changing, and I can't help but say this is also a dynamic going on with my son right now, that your soul group is shifting and the people you hang out with are shifting, and the person you're going to be getting involved with could also potentially be at odds with your soul group. So that's coming in for you with the Jupiter-Neptune square. So it's the course of spring, summer, and fall transits. Okay, and then significant dates are, like I said, January 13th, June 16th, and September 21st with the square. And then your home life, you're starting to understand what you want in the home life, what kind of luxury items and ways of expressing yourself in that realm, the beauty, the dynamic of growing something, and are you supported by the family structure? What kind of family structure would you like? It's going to be a new dynamic for 7 or 8 years as long as Uranus is there. When it's direct, Uranus is going to let you feel a sense of freedom around the family setting, and when it's retrograde every year for 6-7 years, it's going to be about that restriction. So it's an ongoing building something good, going back and reviewing, moving forward, being free, coming back to a sense of restriction and restrictedness. So it's flexing your muscles and building that energy towards what you truly want in the home life. And then July 2nd, the solar eclipse in Cancer will affect your work house. Again, this is your sense of home and family as well. Cancer rules the home. And then let's see, just going into my chart again so I can make sure. Cancer is the sign of home, but Uranus is moving into that sign. So the Cancer energy for Aquarius is the house of work. And again, it's a connectedness to money, soul group, and work and the work environment, what you feel comfortable doing. And they're all connected to doing something for yourself autonomously in the home. So that's a big theme for you this year, Aquarius. And then finally, Pisces. So Pisces for you. Thank you for hanging on, Pisces. I'm sorry you're always the last one to be talked about, but Pisces, my compadre, my friend. I love Pisces. I have Saturn in Pisces. That's my career. So Pisces, your focus this year, the Capricorn energy is in your house of peer group. And so that is the 11th house. And it's kind of what I was talking about Aquarius, where Aquarius had Sagittarius there, you have Capricorn there. So it's about shoring up your soul group, wanting to be around those people but not being run over by them. And that's an ongoing theme for Pisces, is how can you get your needs met and feel like you are part of a group and belong but not giving up who you are. And that's always an issue. The boundaries is always an issue. You are the chameleon of the zodiac. Capricorn has been really helping you to understand your view of structure and systems within the people you hang around with, those people that you're here on earth with, as a purpose. You know, who did you come to be around, and what do you want to do with those people? And not taking more than your fair share of responsibility for their issues. And so let me just read here what's going on. So you have a lot of energy about making money from career. If you are not in a career any longer, then it is about bringing in some type of income through people you know, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to work very hard to do it, but you tend to support, and supporting others can put you in alignment with having things come to you fluidly. So let's see. Saturn, Pluto, and the Sun are currently in this house, and so you're being shown that your nature to care for everything for other people is being challenged. And when you take care of others, you're not taking care of yourself, and you need to. The universe is asking that you stop taking so much responsibility for other people and put that oxygen mask on yourself first, or you will feel drained. And it is the house of quick ideas and information coming fast and furious to you, which Capricorn doesn't necessarily enjoy. Fast things and a lot of information coming from all directions, and that can drain you. So, and definitely Pisces. Pisces is about fluidity. It's about liquids, and so having things come in with the Capricorn energy, very like physical structures may change rapidly. That's kind of the energy for the Pisces Capricorn connection, and so it can drain you. And that's just really my central focus is take care of yourself. It is about self-care. You've got the Sagittarius energy up in career and structures, and that's about freedom. It's about playfulness. It's about taking classes, enjoying yourself, finding friends, not necessarily staying in any one place too long. It is about travel and transformation spiritually, which can bring you to new places, new places, new places. By the end of the year and into 2020, when Jupiter hits Capricorn, that will probably be the culmination of it, the peak point of all that, until Jupiter gets into Aquarius. And then you will be more of a traveler in your mind and understand more spiritual energy in about 2021. But for now, travel is a huge part of what you're dealing with. And it has to do with your place in the world. Where are you? Are you finding where you really want to be in this world? And that's going to be a strong dynamic throughout this year of really honing in on it. The Jupiter-Neptune square for you is about where do you want to be? What is your life purpose? In what place? And so it's a back and forth. And honestly, you may not settle into the place that you're going to be until later in the year. And for you, that September 21st final Jupiter-Neptune square is going to be kind of a watershed moment for you. So Neptune is in your first house, joining with your sun there. And Jupiter is having you move around, is having you grow and understand on a higher level who you are and what you're about and what you need to do. So Mars for the first month of January falls in your house of money. It can be sales. You can sell things, but you are able to let go of things. It's about moving forward. It's about initiating energy. And then Uranus moving out of the house of money into the third house of communications is letting you slow down a little bit and bring you more into a social environment and help you really connect to people socially much more and bring in tangibles from that. And again, it's in Taurus money, so connecting through social situations can bring you more money. And it can also help you feel more settled in some sense. That that Taurus energy in your house of communications is about understanding the growth that needs to happen in your finances. It can also bring a really great opportunity with other people to give you information around material gain and how you can do that. So that's coming, for 7 years. Uranus will be in your house of communication in Taurus. So it'll really help you understand finances more, and it'll give you alternative financial information. So your challenges this year is that you're feeling a freedom. Let's start over. Career is a challenge, or again, travel and growth, spiritual growth, feeling that you have a freedom within that environment. And then Jupiter retrograde is about restrictive time and understanding it, understanding what you need, and by having it taken away from you. So there's that one period in the middle of the summer, the April through August time, where it's going to feel more difficult on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, because you're being challenged. What is it that you want? Where do you want to go? And you'll say, I don't necessarily know, and you won't necessarily know until fall. So know that that's part of the year for you. Don't worry about it. And then it's also a time to release and move forward from addictive tendencies, which is that Neptune energy. We are approaching the middle 10 degree. Actually, I take it back. We are in the middle 10 degrees of Pisces, which is the settled down, like really nails dug in part of I want to have everything beautiful and wonderful. And it's a difficult thing to have a square between a planet that wants you to move and Pisces, which really wants to be stagnant on some level. You want to be settled, and Jupiter wants you to move. So you're going to be doing that this year. It's no two ways around it. I'm sorry. And then February 19th, the supermoon in Virgo will affect relationships for you within your marriage and partnership house, and how you deal with other people. Of course, a full moon, and it's going to be a supermoon, means that the highlight is on Virgo and the sun is on Pisces. And so it's a split or an opposition, and I can tell you, you may have difficulty with people in the opposite sign. Virgos will have trouble with Pisces. Pisces will have trouble with Virgos, because Jupiter's dead set in the middle between those two energies right now, and it's really creating a bit of friction. And so I can honestly, just the dynamic with my aunt and myself, I can tell you it's probably going to be, shut up, you're telling me what to do too much. And that isn't something she ever tells me. And so it may be one of those moments where it's like, you're just too much right now. And I've been getting told that I have a very hyper energy lately. I've never in my life been told that until now. And I can tell you Uranus in Aries is probably triggering some of that. So Uranus in Aries in the house of money, it can be frenetic. And for the next month, it's going to be like, I've got to do this and I got to do that. And where the money's coming from is going to require that you take action all the time. So it's going to be, Pisces, a pretty busy month into February for you. And then, of course, Mars goes into Taurus, and then it joins with Uranus. Well, it'll cross over Uranus while it's in Aries and go into Taurus. And then things will settle down a little bit more for you. It'll be more social, loving. I wouldn't even be surprised if you have a love interest coming in. So look to that this year also. And that is pretty much it. We'll say November 11th also is the last transit for you, where Mercury transits across the sun in Scorpio. It can affect your 9th house at that time of spiritual growth, and it's going to be about what do you need to learn and what do you need to grow from, and then moving on from that energy. So November 11th is pretty significant for you to really wrap up some old emotional wounds and then move on and know that it's going to be okay. But it's probably going to be sentimental. It's going to be emotional. Like I said earlier in the show, the end of the year, I think this year was a really awesome Christmas time. It seemed really lively and happy. Everyone seemed really excited to celebrate Christmas. I think this coming Christmas in 2019 is going to be a little bit more moody and broody and sentimental. So just know that that's part of the energy. Probably also going to be with that Scorpio energy, a little bit more rainy and snow energy coming in also for December. But anyway, that is the show for 2018. And I look forward to hanging out with you more in 2019. And I really hope you have a safe and wonderful New Year's Eve. Don't make your resolutions till after the 7th because Uranus, oh my gosh, that's a Freudian slip. Uranus goes direct, and they will be more powerful if you make them after the 7th. So anyway, that's the show. Happy New Year, everybody. I look forward to a great 2019 with you. Let's join together and make it great. See you then. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com. To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.